Ystad, situated along the southern shores of Sweden, a place of white beaches, stunning nature, simply an existence filled with peace and tranquility.
The Wallander books were my only link to Ystad. Until now. An old friend, on hearing that my family and I had decided to move, suggested this town. A man who said that he would never leave Stockholm. But I realized that all the attractions like the old town, shopping, nearness to the sea, entertainment, history and culture could also be found in Ystad. When I visited the town, it struck me that the people were rarely in a hurry. They took their time to stand and chat a while, either on the street or in some cafe along the way. Because I have my own business, I was delighted to find that trade and industry were flourishing, both the small shops and the high-tech companies. And of course it's a great help having 2 international airports close by and regular ferry services to the continent. At first we were a little worried about the commuting situation, with my husband having a job in another town. But whether he chose to travel by car, bus or train, we were pleasantly surprised by how short the journey was and the beauty of the scenery. Having children means that schools and nurseries are very important to us. The reputation and the reality of the schools were impressive. But I also couldn't help noticing how happy the children looked. And I do have to admit that it was pretty cool that Österport has one of Sweden's largest senior high schools with a criminal technology department named after my favorite television series, CSI Ystad. Wallander and CSI are no slump. The former army barracks are used today by the film industry. And the town is also home to everything from a film university to events such as Have a Go for a Day in the film world for school children. When we were looking for somewhere to live, we heard that there were houses in the town which had been inhabited for 600 years. Although I love history, I wanted a slightly more modern house, and that was no problem. Over 1,100 new houses have been built here during the last few years, and there are more people moving in than are moving away, especially from the neighbouring villages. Historical associations in this area go back a long way in time, but 1 million tourists a year don't come here just to see the prehistoric Alice stones. Ystad is the town in Sweden with the most leisure and sporting associations, from football to handball and chess to hang gliding. In the town and in the surrounding countryside, there are some fascinating museums and galleries to discover. And the old 19th century theatre presents everything from opera and hip-hop to talented new artists. One is constantly aware as to how close one is to the sea, and it is always within easy walking distance. Come to think of it, we're never far from anything. 10 minutes in the car and we're out in beautiful countryside. Then perhaps a herring sandwich and an ice-cold beer in the little village of Korseberga. And back in the middle of town, there is an oasis in the form of the Grey Friar Cloister from the 13th century, which exudes an almost meditative calm. Well, the parkour phenomenon wasn't here in the 13th century, but Ystad has a place for both the Middle Ages and the future. And so the various pieces fell into place. Environment, entertainment, easygoing charm. These are the things that make me feel good. This is where I want to live.